Today, in the Valiant Continuity Bible, we will be going through and talking about Archer and Armstrong. The titular heroes of this series were, of course, Obadiah Archer and Aram Anipada, also known as Armstrong. Their first appearance was in Archer and Armstrong number 0. As a child, Archer was nearly murdered by his parents, a sadistic preacher and equally sadistic wife. He survived their murder attempt and traveled Orient, where he trained in the martial arts and became a devotee of Siddhartha Gautama. Aram is the youngest brother of Gilad, the eternal warrior, by 2 years his junior. He is immortal, virtually indestructible, and incredibly strong. Armstrong is most fond of strong drink. Archer met Armstrong in 1992 in East Los Angeles, where Aram was down and out in their flight from the sect, an order obsessed with the destruction of Armstrong. They have formed a partnership of sorts and bonded into a strong friendship. Now we move on to the individual book synopsis for each issue, starting with number 0. Remember, the VBC was produced in 1993 and did not consider storylines past these issues. Number 0 was released in July of 1992. The cover was done by Barry Windsor-Smith. The title of this story is Revival. Co-plotters were Bob Layton and Jim Shooter. The writer was Jim Shooter. Penciler was Barry Windsor-Smith. Inker was Ralph Reese, with Barry Windsor-Smith. Colorist was Maurice Fontenot. Letterer was Chris Iliopoulos. Editor was Bob Layton. Supporting characters in this issue were Joe Earl Archer and Mrs. Archer, abbot of Ladakh Monastery, Mahmoud of the sect. This was the first appearance of Archer and Armstrong. In 1982 Topeka, young Obadiah Archer plays HORSE with his friends. He is experiencing one of his spells when cannot miss, no matter the difficulty of the shot. He attributes this to the power of God, but the other kids think he is hustling them. They welsh on their HORSE bets. Archer turns the other cheek, even though with the power in him, no one could physically best him. Archer rushes home to proudly tell his evangelist parents what a good Christian deed he did. Archer's father prevents him from walking in on the torture murder he and his wife were committing. Archer's parents are fundamentalist evangelists. Reverend Archer performs faith healing at revivals. He also uses the sprayer meetings as an opportunity to lure troubled youngsters into his clutches. One night, Archer is once again filled with the power of total body control. He dashes to inform and finds them committing another child molestation/murder. Reverend knocks out the boy. Archer wakes up bound in the kitchen. The house is on fire. Archer summons the power to attempt an escape, but he's overcome by the smoke. Archer has a near-death experience where he is floating between worlds. He wants to go to the light, but vows to return to the living world and get his murderous parents. Archer awakens in the hospital. His parents are eager for an opportunity to silence him, so he sneaks out of the hospital and skips town. Stowing away on a ship, he eventually makes it to Ladakh, India. Archer has found that he returned from his death with the power permanently on. The monks of Ladakh teach Archer their martial arts and philosophies as they marvel at his absolute control of his body. But within him burns the hatred of his parents that ultimately forces him to leave Ladakh. Back in L.A., Archer gives his last $5 to the panhandling Armstrong. Impressed by Archer's generosity and spiritual purity, Armstrong befriends the naive young man. Armstrong regales Archer with tales of his exploits through the ages. Archer listens incredulously, but he is without purpose since discovering his parents were incarcerated shortly after he ran away. Armstrong suggests that Archer employ his martial prowess as a bar bouncer. Archer tries out, but he is naive and easily suckered. Next, Archer tries raising money by wagering in pickup basketball games. When the Blacktop Hustlers try to Welsh on him, Archer defeats them with his combat abilities. Witnessing Archer's fighting skill, Mahmud of the sect approached Archer. He tries to recruit Archer in the sect's ancient battle against the Beast. The Beast, of course, turns out to be Armstrong. Archer fights Armstrong until he realizes that Armstrong is the true victim and the sect reinforcements have arrived to finish the job. This concludes Part 1 of the Valiant Continuity Bible's overview of Archer and Armstrong.